Here's my first video on a series about. Here's my first video on a series that I'm trying to create. That is, how far are we supposed to go to find purpose in life? It's kind of like those existential crisis questions that we ask ourselves, but we don't really have an answer. So I decided to answer this question myself because honestly, I've tried and I'm not finding this freaking answer. So at least let me maybe present myself. That would be easier because if we're going to be together for a very long time in all of the upcoming series that I'm hoping to do, that would be a very interesting thing that at least I'm presenting myself. And right now I'm very thirsty, so I'm going to do it while I'm doing something because I think it's the easiest thing. So I'm Tara. I'm 35 and I've quit Amazon like end January, but let's say I've went on holiday for a month in February, so I've really started on working on my project beginning January, February, March, beginning of March. And at that time, I was sure of myself. At that time, I was really sure I was going to launch a project of my own on YouTube. I really knew what was going to do. So here is who I am. But the little conflict, if I can add that, is I'm married. I have a baby. All of this is very beautiful and all of that. But I live in a 30-meter square. 30-meter square, I think in square feet, I need to kind of find like what is the number, but 30-meter square is tiny. Like, let me show you maybe a little bit of how does it look like. Let me redo all that. What is 30-meter square living? This is the kitchen, okay? We have the kitchen very optimized, a little bit messy right now, but usually, for cleaning is very easy. This is the shoe area, very messy. This is the desk that we don't really use. This is the couch. This is the bed that comes down. It's very good. It's called Bed Up. Very useful. This is the toy area, and this is for the baby area. And here, if I could, we have a very nice terrace outside, which kind of allow us to breathe, if I can say. Okay, to breathe, but it's not always the case. I mean, thank God we have, thank God we have this terrace. It's 20-meter square, so we can maybe say that we live in a 50-meter square, but it's not. It's still 50-meter square. So really, really, my question is, how far are we supposed to go to find our purpose? Thank God I have my husband. It was quite supportive in this idea because I told him we live in a 30-meter square. Are you sure of yourself? This is absolutely insane. He was like, honestly, go find your purpose. Go find who you are. Try to just be aligned with yourself. And the problem is in those things. Let me. I'm very thirsty. Whew. Even though the support and everything and the love that you receive is nice, because not always the case. I think until I was 35, I did not receive that much support. It was more like, you know, take it on yourself, stop like being such a crybaby and just go do corporate job because everyone does a job that they don't love. But I couldn't. I had to do a job that I love and I could not do a job that I don't love. That was the freakiest, most annoying advice that people gave me. But I was, I still went. I still went and I still did whatever I had to do. And now I'm 35. I live in a 30-meter square with a baby. The baby is 2 years old. And the worst is we adapted. We adapted so well that we don't even notice that we live in a tiny, tiny place. But when people come and visit us, I can see in their face that, yes, girl, it's tiny. But it's still home, and this is the only way I have to pay for my bills because it's tiny. The bills are not very expensive. Also, little bracket, I live in Paris. I'm from Paris, so everything is small. I don't know where you're from, but I know my husband is Mexican, and for him, they live in mansions. But even the poorest of the poorest live in very big, big area because the country is big. Paris is a small area. We are like 1 million, and I actually don't live inside. I live around Paris, but because it's so close, I can tell you that it's like if I was in Paris. And even if I was living in a bigger area, it would still be 60-meter square, so just double of where I'm living. Just double the size of where I'm living right now is not going to be a mansion neither. But at the end of the day, when you're trying to look for your purpose, when you're trying to go, to finally find what you wanted to find and to finally be aligned with who you are, there are challenges and there are frictions and there are sacrifices that you need to take into account. And these sacrifices that I'm trying to figure out is how big are they? Because I'm not talking about the celebrities who was 15. Some of them, honestly, thank for them. I've always been very envious of people who knew what they wanted to do since they were 15 or 10, and they gave everything that they have at such a young age when there was no responsibility and they were still with their parents. And because the learning curve is so high that during those 10, 15 years of learning from 10 to 25, you still not even half of your life. You're not even at a quarter, almost at a quarter. So when 25, when you start living, you're really such a professional in whatever area you love. But it's not the case for all of us. There's many of us who are going through life because we don't know what is it, even though we want deeply to find out what is it that we love. But it doesn't mean that we are always capable of, for whatever reason there is. I can find tons of reasons. I can say because my parents were not big helper and big supportive of whatever I loved. I loved writing and they didn't put me in classes of writing. But even that is not true. Or it can be true, but I don't know how true can it be. In the sense that when you start, we go through life. We don't really know what you want to do. And you go to university, you go to job, you go do corporate life. You see all of your friends doing it. You see everyone doing it around you. Okay, this is a very bad banana, so I should throw it away. But when I'm going to put it in the fridge because I don't want to make too much noise. So, you see everyone, your surroundings doing whatever they're doing. So you just follow. You just tell yourself that this is how life is. And you continue until one day that you wake up and you're like, this is not the life that I want to. And even when you talk about it to people around you, okay, this is a very personal story that I'm telling. It might not be the case for everyone, but this is what happened to me. And when you talk about it to everyone around you, they tell you, Tara, or Tara, or Tara, whatever language you're trying to say my name. Life is not a movie. Like, you just go to work, you pay your bills, and that's it. And this is what people told me for many, many years. And even though I was trying so hard to come out of it, because I did actually at 25, I went to live in China for 4 years. Yes, 29 to 25 to 29. So for 4 years, I was in China. This is for another video because otherwise I will, this is not the topic of what we're talking right now. But even when you're trying and you come back, society and things, even the what is said and the non-said, because you don't need people to tell you exactly what to do. It's what you feel, is the nuances, the complexity of life. You can feel whatever is going on. So even though if no one is telling you, you have to go to work, you have to do this, you know that this is what you need to do. Same for marriage, same for baby. This is kind of like the non-said rules that everyone have integrated and they know that they need to do. So at the end of the day, you do it. And then you wake up and you're like, wait, okay, our parents did not have the chance of having internet, neither social media, neither any of these things that shows you other possibilities and other opportunities. So obviously the way that they see life is very different from us. And I'm saying us, Generation Y, Generation Z, and even all the generations that are upcoming, we're seeing more possibilities. And we're like, wait, we get kind of cheated. Like, they cheated on us. Something happened. Wait, that was not what we signed. And so you decide to leave your job and plan your life and do whatever passion life you're trying to do. But then, what is the challenge? What is the sacrifice that you're willing to take? In my case, I've been willing to live in a 30-meter square, but at the same time, I'm still an adult. I mean, I'm not in my 20s and be stupid anymore, even though I like that time, but I'm not that mature enough to really know everything about life. You kind of in the middle ground, like from 30 to 40. And this is the time that you're growing older and you can't do the same mistakes than before. So you have to be a little bit mature and wise. And yeah, 30-meter square with a baby is a stupid decision. It's a stupid thing, but the worst is I'm still willing to do it. I am still willing to do such a stupid decision. So I'm guessing that when we say how far are we supposed to go to live our purpose is how far are you ready to accept it, is how much challenges, how much sacrifices are you willing to accept? I think this is the real question. This is actually the real thing. Like, in my case, again. But even though I'm saying that, I'm not going to lie. I've been like checking out some job offers not a long time ago by thinking, okay, maybe I can at least, because I've seen many Instagrammers, many people doing that, like living the life and living the corporate world in order to find their passion and whatever. Cool. But those people already have a big house, they already have things settled. Me, I do not have anything settled, and I'm still willing to go through the pain because the pain of corporate was so hard that you're willing to go through the pain of comfort and through the pain of not having enough money, or it's not having money, but you need to prioritize the money that you have to buy food and living and all of that. So yeah, my clothes are the same since 4 years ago. My skincare routine, I'm trying my best to find like really good things that are not too expensive. And even going out, when I go out, I can't even enjoy that much with my friends anymore because when I enjoy, I'm always the cheap girl now, which is fucking annoying. I wish I had like money to splash like to absolutely everyone. It's not the case. So sometimes I'm still like the cheap girl, but because I know why I'm doing this, I'm willing to go through it. I'm willing to look cheap and to look whatever I feel, because all of it is obviously is my inner critics and self critics that I'm saying, to go through it. So I'm guessing if I have to answer how far we're supposed to go to live our life or to figure out whatever purpose we want to find, is really what is the challenge or what are the sacrifices that you're willing to take. Maybe on my case, I've listed down like this whole video about what is it, but I know that maybe I will go for a job offer because eventually I will have to go to a job offer to at least stabilize the apartment, or to stabilize whatever wherever I'm living. Because if it was only me, fine, but I have a child. That child is 2 years old. He doesn't understand what's going on until he's free. That cut is until 3 years old, and he's only two. So for a year, I could actually like stay here and act that everything is fine. But I also know that in France, government-wise, I don't know how is it for the other countries. I'm actually quite curious to know that. But in France, when you leave, you need to have CDI. So CDI is this contract, long-term contract, where you don't have any end date. Thanks to that, you can go to the bank and you can say, here, I don't have any end date. Could you give me a loan? And from that loan, you can actually buy yourself a very big house. That house, we own it. So this is still cool. I mean, this is a house, we own it. And this is why we made it very fancy. And we have like smeg and smeg and smeg and all of that. Also because it's quite cheap. So you can buy yourself very fancy stuff. And, like we have all of those things. So I really wanted to keep this house and buy another house. I don't know if I'm capable, but for sure, if I go online and I do all of those things that I'm doing, I might not be able to keep this house. But if I go to a job that pays me, I don't know, I'm hoping like 60,000 per year. I'm guessing I've heard that in the US they earn like 200,000 or 100,000 per year, but because you guys need to pay for all of your bills and everything else, like the insurance and hospitals and security and all of that, France, they really take it from you. So that's why 60,000 is a quite good salary without being bad, without being the best, average, but still good enough. And yeah, I'm guessing that this is all of that. Like, I still might need to find a job offer to buy myself a house. So I think I do have the answer at the end of all of this video, which was, what are the sacrifices that you're willing to take to find a purpose in your life? And there's not good or bad answer, I think. It's just really whatever you're ready to take, whatever you're ready to do. There is nothing wrong by saying that I'm not willing to take out my comfort. I'm not willing to not go on holiday to find my purpose. Okay, fine. You can find maybe like other ways of doing it, and it will be like little by little that you will grow. You might not grow as fast as someone who has decided to sacrifice absolutely everything. And even that I'm saying, it's not even a general rule. You might have actually people who's targeting the right target, like the right niche, the right audience, whatever, everything fits. It's like a line, like the chakra are aligned on you, or the stars. So those people might grow really fast with once per week, but many people proved it that if you're consistent and you're actually willing to sacrifice whatever you have around to post a lot, then eventually you might have more chance to grow. But of course, it needs to be structured. You need to have a concept. You need to have some ideas. You need to have some think. You need to think through it. Nevertheless, and for the ones who are ready to sacrifice a lot, you really need to be sure of why you're doing that. Like, think about it. Like, why are you doing that? What is your purpose? And if in the middle you decide to pivot because it's not for you anymore, you also have the right of giving yourself some slack and telling yourself, like, Yeah, I did good. I did try. Now I know what works and now I know what doesn't work and I know what works for me and what doesn't work for me. So all of that I'm saying, obviously, I'm acting like if I was an expert. I'm kind of talking to myself in a way. So whoever has actually something to say about it, I'm so happy. Like I actually think that is one thing about YouTube that is pretty cool is you can really, really talk to people and connect. If there is anyone who has anything to say, I'm so down to hear it because yeah, I find it cool to connect to others. I never thought that YouTube could be a medium like that. I always thought I needed to be an expert, but when I tried, it sucked. I hated it. So now I'm just being me with my lows and bad. So anyway, thank you for listening to whoever stayed until the end, and even for the others if they listen like a little bit and they stop. Like thank you as well because at least you clicked. So bye.